Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fun-filled, fantastic episode of Fantasy Fun Frenzy Faniacal Farces and Fuddruckery.
Oh, Fuddruckers, man.
Oh.
The cheese pump at Fuddruckers. What the fuck?
The cheese pump?
You remember Fuddruckers, the restaurant?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they still exist.
Yeah. They had cheese pumps. Regular nacho cheese and then jalapeno cheese. And
Oh,
kids
cheese.
Would,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I started thinking of like shoes. I'm like, wow, like women's shoes, like pumps,
No.
like cheese pumps.
Nope, an actual cheese pump. Hot cheese pump.
Hot cheese pump. Man, that's gonna be the name of my next band. Ladies and gentlemen, hot cheese pump. Ugh. I am so into that idea. Oh, fuck. Sign me up. Anyways, hey, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I hope you are doing well. I, of course, am Jake. With me always is Lindsay. Mm-hmm. And we're here to talk about the fuckery of the world.
Yes.
Mainly when it comes to the U.F.Ohs. Now, where are we? Where are we at, if you've been following along?
Now because we're past Roswell. We have passed Majestic 12. We have passed them. And we are in the midst and depths and realms of Bob Lazar territory going forward.
Past Kennedy.
Past Kennedy, yes. Cannot forget Kennedy.
Past. Oh, you know what else we're past? Nazi NASA.
Oh.
Don't forget about Nazi NASA.
Nazi NASA.
NASA Nazis.
I hate NASA Nazis.
They're the worst. I mean,
They are
seriously.
the fucking worst.
Fucking NASA Nazis. Oh, sons of bitches. Yes. And we're past Bob Lazar. You're right. We have breached past the 80s.
And that Bob, let me tell you.
Oh my God. Yeah, tell me.
He's a character. He's a character.
That's saying something.
Character who turned out to be right in a lot of stuff.
A lot of things.
About a lot of things.
Including prostitution.
Yes.
Because he ran a brothel called the Honeysuckle.
The Honeysuckle.
But nope, you're right. Turned out to be right about a lot of things, including Element 115. He talked about that back in the 80s. Didn't exist. Exists now. Talked about gravity being a wave. We didn't think it was a wave back then. We think it's a wave now. And a bunch of other stuff. Right down to... he talked about back in the 80s a security system that they had where they had this deal. You put your hand on it, and it had these metal, like, kind of beams down it. And a light would shine over it. And it would measure the width of your bones in your hand, like really early, like, biosecurity kind of shit.
Okay.
Because I guess everybody's bones are different in their hands. And so it would use that as a security, and that's how you get into the base. That's like how you authenticate your you.
Oh yeah, you see shit like that in the movies.
Yeah. So he talked about that, and it wasn't until Jeremy Corbell came out, was making his documentary about Bob Lazar, called Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers, which I recommend everybody go and watch on YouTube. I have watched that thing probably 40 times. That's not even an exaggeration. I have a problem. That being said, absolutely go and check it out. But there's a really neat moment when Jeremy is interviewing Bob and pulls out a photo of this hand scanner. He found a photo buried deep in wherever, and showed Bob, and like you could tell Bob in that moment was like blown away, because he said that he's tried to explain this thing to so many people over the years.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody's like,
no one could understand what the fuck they're like, sure, Bob.
Yeah.
Sure, Bob.
Sure, Bob. Yeah, exactly.
Sure, Bob.
And, you know, it's little things like that just turned out to be true. So we left Bob Lazar back in the 80s, and we're gonna kind of jump back and forth a little bit here. It's one of those, like, to continue on, you got to jump forward a little bit and then go back a little bit.
Yeah.
And then go forward a little bit, right? So where do we begin? Well, as if you left off, we begin with a news article. So 2017, an article comes out in the New York Times called Glowing Auras and Black Money. And this article says a lot. It's a bombshell. It talks about the existence of a secret program. It highlights the Department of Defense had a program called ATIP.
ATIP.
Yep. The Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. It was run by the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, from 2007 to 2012. And investigated reports of unidentified flying objects and other anonymous space phenomena. Other crazy shit. This article went on to talk about that it was initiated by then Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid.
The Reedster.
The Reedster. Remember we talked about Harry Reid last adventure with Bob Lazar, because Bob Lazar, leaving out of the McCarran Airport, which we now know is called the Harry Reid International Airport.
Weird.
So Harry Reid and a couple other members of Congress, these guys got together and they believed that the U.S. government should take more of an active role in studying UFOs. And the program was funded with, quote, black budget funds, which are funds that are allocated to classified programs that are not publicly disclosed. Black budget funds are not like, I mean, it's not, there's tons of those. Like, that's not like a crazy secret thing.
No.
I mean, the government does secret shit that's good. That's good that it's secret, like developing, secret spy planes and, technologies and things that help us and protect us and secure us. And those are all funded by black budget. But usually, things like UFOs are not funded by black budgets. It's kind of taboo.
Yeah.
It's kind of taboo. So,
if it's a such a crazy conspiracy, then why the secrecy with investigating it and spending money on it?
Exactly. Because I thought Project Blue Book already established that this is all bullshit anyways. Right?
It's like, why you hiding?
The article continued to talk about that it was led by a man named Luis Elizondo. He's a former intelligence officer with the DIA, and he conducted research on a variety of topics, including UFO sighting, radar tracking data, and physical debris from alleged UFO encounters. The program also reportedly worked with other agencies such as the FAA, the NRO, and other entities to gather and analyze data on all this craziness that's going on. The article continued on to talk about some of the findings from the ATIP program were released to the public in a report titled Summary of ATIP UFO UAP Research and Findings in 2020. The report included summaries of UFO cases that were studied by the program, as well as descriptions of some of the technologies and techniques that were used to investigate these cases. The report also included recommendations to further study the UFO phenomenon and, of course, other threats.
Yes.
Okay. So let's back up here. Let's recap.
It's like more and more information is starting to come out at a drastic pace.
Well, so you have Bob Lazar, and then you have a bunch of there's a bunch of incidences and reports and things of things that happened. But then out of the fucking blue, you wake up one morning in 2017, and you pick up the fucking New York Times, and the front page article is saying that not only not only are these UFO things out there, is the government recognizes they're out there, and we have been studying them this whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time. It's fucking
the
nuts.
whole time.
The whole
time, Sally Field, the whole time.
Like, it's the whole time. It's everything. It's the whole time. You know what I mean? Like,
but yeah, and you know what? And you know what makes that even funnier? You know what makes that even fucking funnier?
What?
Is that it wasn't a bigger deal at the time, because so much crazier shit was happening at the world that when that dropped, we were all like, not now.
Right.
Not now. Come on, man, not now.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You're 100% correct. Like, the government came out and said, hey, there are UFOs. There are things, well, they came out and they said, listen. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm just having a moment because of how stupid this world is that we live in. So the government comes out and says, hey, not only are we taking UFOs fucking serious, and we have been for this whole time, like we've had secret things. Not only that, we dedicated $22 million to it. That's how much money Harry Reid allocated through black budget funds for this program. And they're like, so not only that, we actually have some fucking evidence. Like,
yeah.
And so these videos came out, right? 3 different instances came out with fucking real from the fighter pilots themselves, technical shit, UFO things. And the government's like, we don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
We got nothing. These things are they're big, right? They're the size of an airplane, and they're moving at speeds up to like 300 miles an hour. And making right angle fucking
They're defying the
turns.
laws of physics right in front of us.
Yeah. So this ATIP program,
and rubbing our face in it.
And we'll
like, look what I can do.
it's kind of nuts. And we'll get into a couple of the stories, the 3 that kind of came out of this, or the 2 for sure. So the program was initially funded with a $22 million black budget fund that was allocated through back channel programs. And Luis Elizondo, who ran the program, he oversaw everything. And he left the program.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that he said he left the program is because he would find all these things and he'd start sending it up the chain, and he would find that it kept getting blocked and it wasn't getting through. And he come to find out a lot of it came to do with religion.
Yeah.
Higher ups thought that this shit was like devil stuff and threw it all out. Dismissed it.
Because I mean, it can shake your faith. You know, if you have alien life does exist, then how can God?
Right.
And deal with that.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
Can be rough.
And the thing with Elizondo is this dude. This is a rock solid guy, right? I mean, military man through and through, rock solid. Kept getting frustrated because his whole thing is he doesn't give a shit if it's alien or if it's whatever it is. The point is it's out there. It's in our airspace. We don't know what it is, and it's doing shit that we don't know how it's doing what it's doing, and it's literally in our backyard, and we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because just saying we have no idea what this thing is, we put a label on it, like this is an alien craft. This could be alien life coming to check us out.
Right.
But it's like if you think 1,000 years ago, back then, something that is common sense science today was magic back then.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they would put their the limit of their thinking would be placed upon that, but it would still be magic.
Bob Lazar had a really good example. He said, imagine taking a small nuclear generator that produces power and taking it back to the medieval times.
Yeah.
And setting it in there with their, their science. They know that this thing produces energy, but it doesn't produce any heat, and it doesn't produce any smoke, and it doesn't produce anything. And so they get curious and they open the thing up, right?
Yep.
Well, then they die. Okay. And then so people come to look for them, and then they see that they're dead, and then they walk into the room, and then they eventually die too. And then everybody that keeps coming in there keeps dying. And so what are they going to do? They're going to fucking say it's haunted, or they're going to say that there's a demon there that's killing people off. But because they don't understand that they're getting fucking irradiated.
Yes.
They're getting nuclear irradiated.
Yes.
And so, it's sort of like that, right? It's sort of like
you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. So I don't know. So they do the research on this stuff. Elizondo has an issue. Its information is getting blocked. He is worried that, holy shit, guys, we have a fucking big problem on our hands right now.
Yeah.
Okay. We have craft that are, these things, some of them are as big as our aircraft. These are not small, little, tiny fucking things.
No.
These are big goddamn things. And they're moving so quick. And we'll get into talking about the first incident of the two that we'll talk about was in 2004 from the perspective of the commander David Fravor from the USS Nimitz. He's a Navy guy, commander of his squad, top of his line. Like you can't, he's just through and through fucking super soldier, you know what I mean? Superman, super soldier. Military man through and through, the whole thing. He talks about these things, how they go from like 80,000 feet, which is about, at least the curvature of the earth.
Yeah.
You can, down to sea level, 200 feet or less in 1.78 seconds, or under a second. Yeah, it's like 0.78 of a second. Yeah. Crazy. Like they don't know how they do this shit, right?
No.
They figured out it was going 5 miles per second when they clocked this thing. So they saw this thing do this, and they got it on radar, right? And they don't know what this thing is, right? So they clocked this thing on radar, 2004. They figured out that it was going roughly 18,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Which, if you look at Mach 1, is 761 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's pretty fast.
It's pretty fast. It was traveling Mach 23.
Jesus.
And it stopped in an instant. Now, you almost have to say drone, right? Because if there was anything living inside of this thing, they'd liquefy.
Yeah.
You would liquefy. Unless you subscribe to Bob Lazar, who said that these things run on gravity waves. And if you're inside of the craft, you have your own gravity. Like the ship itself is producing your own gravity field. So you don't feel like you're moving. Any effect on the outside of the craft, gravity-wise, or motion or anything like that, does not affect anything on the inside of the field. So you'd be fine. You couldn't even tell you're moving.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it'd be like looking at it like at a screen, more so than looking out of a window is how like it would feel, because you can't even tell you're moving.
Like Flight of the Navigator.
Like Flight of the Navigator.
Fucking Flight of the Navigator.
If you've never seen Flight of the Navigator, do yourself a favor. Go look up Flight of the Navigator on Disney Plus. That movie has so much.
The Puck Marin, that little fucking thing he keeps with him, so goddamn cute.
Yeah. Definitely goes. That movie is riddled with the information dump, either disinformation or purposely like leaking information. Like, what's true, what's not true. Like, we're going to put a little bit of truth inside of a fake movie, so when you see the truth, you're like, oh, I saw that in that fake movie. So that got to be fake, right? Well, no. They got you.
They got you.
Don't let them get you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let them get you. So, Lou Elizondo gets fucking tired of this bullshit, right? So Lou Elizondo gets tired of this fucking bullshit, right?
Yeah. Don't fuck with Lou.
Don't fuck with Lou. And he can't take it anymore, right? So he decides that if I can't get the information to them through internal channels, maybe if I make enough noise outside, I can get some eyes on this. So he resigns. Career man, lost his pension, the whole thing. Fucking resigned. Wrote a letter to General Mad Dog Mattis.
Oh my God.
Fucking said, listen,
Mad Dog.
I'm out, and this is why, motherfucker. Elizondo out. That's probably what he said.
Probably.
He's like, Elizondo out. So let's talk about the incidences that the article is referencing. Starting with November 14th, 2004. November 14th, 2004, near the USS Nimitz carrier strike group in the Pacific Ocean, there was an incident that happened involving a couple different fighter pilots. So they had training scheduled, as they do from time to time, constantly training, keeping sharp and whatnot, And you have to imagine these things are giant battle cruisers, like think Top Gun.
Yeah.
And the planes take off from the battle cruisers and they go out and they're over the ocean. They're far out in the ocean. So you got two planes that are taking off. Of course, you got your main one and your wingman, and they go. And the main guy there is Commander David Fravor, right? Just a rock solid military guy. Trained at Top Gun.
No nonsense guy.
No nonsense. Trained at Top Gun. I'm pretty sure he taught at Top Gun. He's no nonsense guy. Is absolutely right. So they're going out, and they get an alert that says, "Hey, we're cancel the training that he was going. They're going to their vector. Or cancel the training. We're getting a weird notification. Like we're getting a weird blip on the radar.
Yeah.
Picking up something. Go check it out." Yeah, sure. So they go and they cruise down to wherever this thing is or whatever. And he says that as he's coming up, he sees in the ocean this thing that looks like a Tic Tac. He's like, it was like a long cylindrical, like a cigar or whatever, but it was white. He says it really looked like a giant Tic Tac. That's the best way to white Tic Tac.
Big old Tic Tac.
Big ass Tic Tac. And this thing was effortlessly bouncing back and forth, going back, forth, side to side, but not like rotating or anything. So just forward, back, side to side, almost making like a cross over the ocean. And so he was like, talking to his people. He's like, "Are you seeing this?" And like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm gonna go get him for a closer look." So he tells his wingman to hold back, hold up, and he's gonna go down.
Yeah.
So he starts descending in like a kind of like circling around as he's getting lower. And he says you got to be really careful when you do this because when you're over just the ocean, he's like visually it's really hard to tell where the ocean actually is.
You can get flopped very easily.
He's like you could think you're way up and you're not.
Yeah.
And so you got to be really careful. So he's saying that he's coming down. He goes, well, then the thing turned and met him head on, and then started to mirror in his movements. So when he turned, it turned. It would kind of mirror his flight path.
That's so weird.
It's really weird. And then so he went in to kind of get even a better look, and then this thing is just gone. He's like, gone.
Smoke bomb.
Gone. Just like, not like, oh, I see it. I mean, it's.
No.
He goes, and I got up and I called up to my wingman who's, way up there, and I was like, "Do you see this thing?" They're like, "No, it's gone." Okay.
Crazy.
So he starts coming back in, and he gets a communication from the radar ship and says, "Hey, Commander, you're never gonna believe this. It's back, and it's at your original location that you were supposed to go to. It showed up at the training location." So the next squadron went out, okay, because they were about in. They were out of fuel,
Yeah.
The next squadron goes out, and they see it, and they, them motherfuckers, they capture it on video.
Oh shit.
Well, on radar, anyways.
Yeah.
So
they didn't have their iPhone out or anything like that.
No, I don't think this one has audio, but it might. But yeah, so they lock onto this thing, and it's really hard to make out what this shit is. But what we're there. Here we go.
Okay.
There,
yeah.
that's the better one.
That's a better shape of it.
And so he said that thing's like the size of a plane.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was cylindrical, approximately 40, 50 feet long. It's fucking crazy. I mean, like,
what is it?
What is it? And so they got this thing locked. This is military grade tracking and locking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, once you're in, you're in. And this thing was showing signs of active radar jamming. It was
jammed the radar.
It was actively trying to jam radar. So not like a passive thing, not like a whatever. Actively trying to jam radar. And then, mind you, I mean they're tracking it, and then you can see it fucking hauls ass out of there. Wait for it. And they grab it again. I'll post a link to these videos in the show notes so you can follow along. But what we're looking at is a radar system on a airplane, on a jet, fighter jet.
A big old tic tac.
Tracking this big old fucking tic tac. And then it, there it goes.
Oh, bye.
Hauled ass out of there. Whoop.
See ya. Crazy. Crazy fast.
Crazy fast. And this guy, Commander Fravor, has talked about this a couple of times. And he's told this story. And what's really interesting, though, about this one is there's a little bit of fuckery with this one.
More fuckery?
There's some fuckery, but you know what? A part of me thinks it's not government fuckery. Part of me thinks it's fucking, like, greedy capitalist fuckery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Commander Fravor comes across rock solid, right? The dude, he's done a couple appearances. I think he's given under 20 interviews about this whole event, and he hasn't talked to a single soul until, I mean, this was in 2004. Mm-hmm. He didn't tell a single fucking person, not even his family or anything, until the article came out in 2017.
Okay.
He even talks about how throughout his career, people have been like, you've seen some UFOs, right? And he's like, no, I've never seen anything. And then he goes, I remember when I was told the article was going to come out, I had to sit down and be like, okay, guys, there's an article that's going to come out. I chased a UFO. And he's like, my aunt was like, I knew it. Yeah, something like that. Now,
I mean, hey, it's not many people who could keep that a secret for that long.
It's true.
You know, that shows that dude can keep a secret.
Yeah. And he says he got a lot of ridicule for it. He goes, for coming back and, you know, doing the debrief and talking about everything that happened and whatnot. And he said that, like, all the movies and the battle cruisers switched to, like, you know, Alien and Independence Day and Sign. Like, they just fucked with them and they made fun of him, like, teased him. Like, yeah, sure, okay. Well, this is where the fuckery begins, right? Because according to Commander Fravor, there is like 4 people that have actually like come forward and talked about this thing, and you know, and here's what the thing is you have him, which says that this is what happened and whatnot. But what about if someone else came forward from that same incident, right? From the same
incident.
Okay.
The same tic tac.
Same tic tac incident. What if it was a radar operator on like the Princeton, which is another one of the cruisers there? Mm-hmm. And let's say this guy says that he tracked the tic tac on the radar. And he saw the whole thing. And then let's say he reported it and then went to go review, and all of the data was pulled. Like all the recordings of the flight log, the radar, the tracking, all of it. Gone. And let's say a black helicopter landed and people in civilian clothing walked in and took all of it. And they got back in the helicopter.
Well, that's suspicious.
And took off. Okay. So, the guy who said this was a radar operator named Kevin Day. Okay. And Kevin Day has gone on to say a lot of things. He really was there. I mean, he really was a part of that, the radar operator, that thing. But my thing is Kevin Day has also come forward and said that like the incident has messed with his head, has given him PTSD.
Oh God.
He has quite the IMDb. He keeps showing up everywhere. He'll
talk about it.
Talking about it.
He'll talk about it.
I mean, he was a part of a bunch of series, a bunch of, all kinds of stuff. Now you have Commander Fravor, who is just a rock solid guy, who said, I've heard that there's somebody that people have talked about getting PTSD. He's like, I'm the one that saw the thing. I don't have any PTSD.
Fuck's wrong with you?
Fuck's wrong with you? He also said that people like talked about it like, oh, it's classified. He's like, it's not classified. None of this was ever classified. We've never had an NDA. None of this was ever filed top secret. None of this was secret. He also said that no way, shape, or form did somebody come on that ship and take that stuff without the CO's authorization.
Yeah.
He's like, it didn't happen. There's no way. He goes, I even have the flight logs. They were mine.
It's not like there's like a gap.
Yeah.
Like white out over something.
Yeah. So
there's not a space there for anything.
So you know me, I like to expose fuckery where I see it. And to me, this Kevin Day seems a little bit of fuckery. A little bit of fuckery.
Okay.
I don't know. Still to be determined, but like if you watch like all the different like UFO bullshits, he pops up a lot. Like a lot. Like you watch real news, like interviews and stuff, you see Commander Fravor. You look up these like kind of out there documentaries.
Yeah.
You see
He's
Kevin
there
Day.
too.
No, you see Kevin Day, but you don't see Fravor.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You see Kevin. It's like it's interesting. The places that you see Fravor is like free news sources that you can just watch on YouTube, but the places you see Kevin Day is places that you gotta buy the DVD or buy the digital. Me thinks he's
never trust anyone who's trying to sell you something.
And that I feel like that guy's trying to sell that incident. Now
BT Dubs merch coming soon.
Yeah, I know. If anybody has any cool merch ideas, hit us up. Drop into them DMs or tweet at us at U.F.Oh Snap on all the socials. But yeah, no, I don't know. That dude just, I get the feeling that he's just out to capitalize. That being said, I still think the incident still happened.
Yeah.
He's just trying to capitalize. Okay. Now.
It's the society we live in. This is America, baby.
America.
You can make a buck on it. Go for it.
It's true. It's true. You're not wrong. Now, all that being said, right?
It's America where you can sell anything you want except your vagina.
Oh, isn't that? It's so sad. Really. Or authentic vanilla.
Yeah. It's funny because it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. So, Tic Tac incident, 2004. Commander Fravor. A lot of names, a lot of dates, a lot of places. This is the West Coast. Now, UFOs and aliens don't just like West Coast. They down with the East Coast too. Let me fast forward. Then we fast forward to 2015. Okay? You have another commander, Ryan Graves. Another top of his class, Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Legit.
In the danger zone. That's where these people exist.
Danger zone.
In the danger zone.
So this one that they talk about in this article, this one's really interesting, right? So we're talking East Coast now. And according to Ryan Graves, that they would see this, they'd see these things every single day, but they just ignore them.
Yeah. There goes the Tic Tac again.
Well, they weren't Tic Tacs over there. Well, they sort of were, they sort of weren't. But they described them as a bunch of different things, right? So they saw different things, a couple different types. They had smaller vehicles, bigger vehicles, or whatever you want to call them, things. They described it as black cubes inside translucent spheres floating around out there.
Okay.
And then some other shit. Now, these guys also grabbed a couple radar FLIR video clips. And these ones are really interesting because there's audio with these.
Oh.
And so you can hear what the pilots are saying to each other
As they're watching this thing buzz around.
as they're in their planes watching this shit, right? And there's two different clips that go together. One's called the Go Fast, where you can see a bunch of these things like just voo voo, and they eventually lock onto one, and like they're like, whoa, like they can't believe they even locked onto it because it's going so fast. And then the second one, well, we'll get to the second one. So let's
I'm so excited for this because I had seen these things like pop up. People would share them on Twitter and stuff, but I would never watch them.
Oh yeah.
Would never watch them.
And I'm gonna put the link to these in show notes. But it's
God damn, that thing is going fast. That is insane. Yeah, because the only thing I'd really looked at before was like stills, not the actual video.
so. I mean, you can hear the guys that are like, what the fuck is that, right?
Yeah, because everyone had the meme going that it looked like a TIE fighter.
Yeah. Well, that's because it's locking on. Yeah.
Exactly. But that, yeah.
So what's really interesting is the one thing that we know is this can't be a bird. And the reason we know that this can't be a bird is because this FLIR, right, it shows your temperature variance. That's the ocean there that's the back, right? Whatever this thing is colder than the surface of the ocean.
Oh.
It's colder than the surface of the ocean. Okay. So they released that one, right? And again, ladies and gentlemen, no one gave a shit.
Nobody cared.
No one fucking cared.
It was just like we're just like, not now. It was such a weird vibe that they were finally saying, here, they finally gave us aliens, and we're just like, we can't handle this shit right now, man.
I mean, seriously, it's like, since Roswell, it's like you were hiding the conspiracy, government. Tell us the truth. Tell us the truth. Tell us the truth. And then 2017, it's like, hey, here's the truth, and then it's just like, not today, Satan. Yes. What? What? I don't know.
Oh,
I don't get
God.
it. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know. Like, if you step back and you look at, like, the madness that is this. Now, here's the question: how did this footage come out? Because the government didn't willingly fucking put it out, right? Well, ironically, the first one came out, I think, was a part of Jeremy Corbell. He had a part of that, but the other ones came out from a weird place, really weird place. Came from a group called To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences.
What? Say what?
Yeah, To the Stars.
To the Stars
Academy of Arts and Sciences.
Academy of Arts and Sciences. Okay.
No.
Never heard of it.
Academy, it has a lot of people on their board, right? I mean, they have like two different former NASA astronauts.
Oh wow.
They have Christopher Mellon, who is the former like director of intelligence for the DOJ. You have brand new Lou Elizondo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then a bunch of other people, right?
Oh, that's cool.
Founded by, obviously, when you think science and you think like UFOs, and you think like, who wants to get to the bottom of this? Is it a billion? Is it Musk? Is it Elon Musk?
Oh my God.
Maybe? No, it's not.
Oh no, it can't be, can it?
Nope, it's not. Is it? I don't know. Is it Bill Gates? Is he the rich forward thinker? Maybe Mark Cuban. Maybe it's Mark Cuban.
I don't know.
Nope. Who could it be? Who could be the one that put all these people together that wants to get to the bottom of the truth?
Who would have the resources and the time and the talent?
Oh. It's fucking Tom DeLonge from Blink-182.
Yeah.
Tom DeLonge from Blink-182. Turns out Tom DeLonge is huge into this stuff.
Yeah. Like has been for a long time.
Long time.
Super long time.
Long time. So he worked with Luis Elizondo, who, before he quit, somehow got these videos fast-tracked through declassification. So Luis Elizondo had them declassified. He gave his letter of resignation. He came over to Tom DeLonge. He says, I miss you. Here is some fucking UFO videos. And then they did a big press conference where they invited everybody, and Luis Elizondo walked across the stage and said, hey, I have been running this fucking program since 2000 whatever. And the other thing is he said, the article in the New York Times said that this all ended in 2012. Meanwhile, he was still going like up until 2016.
Really?
Yeah, like it's been going the whole time. So they never stopped.
No.
They never fucking stopped. So pretty interesting. Where they're going is really, really interesting, right? Because this article really opened a lot of doors. Okay, it busted. It's like, holy shit, the government's taking it for real. And then
and they're just flat out saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we lied.
Yep.
And not only did we lie, but we don't know what the fuck these things are either.
It's really a sea change that happened, because it went from, the burden of proof went from being on the people who, like, the government's like, UFOs don't exist, prove it. Now the burden of proof is on the government that says UFOs are real. Prove that they're not.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting where this is going, to the point where I don't think people realize, like, I mean, how serious the government is taking this stuff.
Ew.
Like, ladies and gentlemen, we've had 2 congressional hearings on, they call them UAPs now. I think it's because the UFO is like the stigma.
Yeah.
So now they're UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena.
Yeah, the evolution of what language you use to call something is a whole other podcast. Whole other podcast.
Yeah. So they went, and they're having these discussions before a congressional committee. And they're talking about all these instances, and they're saying, like, hey, we've had hundreds and hundreds of submissions. The first go around, they're like, we've had hundreds of submissions, and we can only explain about 50 of them. And then they just released a new report that said that, out of like 300 things, we can explain like half of them. Where's the other half? Like, it's craziness. It's downright madness, is what it really is.
You know what's like crypto-ish thing that I think has kind of fallen out of favor, that no one really talks about anymore.
What's that?
The Bermuda Triangle.
Oh yeah. Well,
because no one it was like the thing back in like the late 80s, early 90s. The Bermuda Triangle was spooky. Things were going missing and stuff. Planes, ships, all sorts of things. And just nobody really talks about it anymore.
Maybe we should do an episode on the Bermuda Triangle.
That would be so much fun.
There you go.
Like go super old school. Because they used to have those books in the library when I was a kid. Like the mystery books. Like they had UFOs, and they would have, the Bermuda Triangle, the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot.
Oh, fucking Sasquatch like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. When there is a method to this madness, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you a sneak peek of where we're going. When we enter season 2 of this show, that's where we're going to start deep diving into fun stories of encounters and things that happen and mysteries. And I think an episode of Bermuda Triangle would be good.
I would love that. That'd be so cool.
There you go. I love it too. So we'll do that. So back to...
So we were talking about the Tic Tac. There's been video of the Tic Tac.
Tic Tac. What we just watched was the Go Fast video.
And we just watched the Go Fast video.
The Go Fast video. And then there's one more. Now, this one is called the Gimbal video.
The Gimbal. Okay, I've heard of this one as well, but I haven't seen it.
Now, when you watch this, and again, I'll link to all these in the show notes, really think about old Bob Lazar and how he described how these UFOs fly.
And how they move.
How they move and things like that. So I think there's audio on this one too, so I'm going to play some of that. And here we go.
Dude, this is a fucking drone, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is an LNS, dude. Well, if there's like... Look at that thing. It's rotating.
Yeah, it's rotating.
Yep.
That is insane.
It's rotating, just like Bob Lazar said they do before they go and fucking take off. Wow. And if you listen to what he said there, he said that on the ASA, which is the spatial awareness page that they have that kind of shows like a wide net of the radar of everything. They had tons of these things. There wasn't just that one. There was tons of them. That was just the one that he locked onto. Because I guess how this system works is when you see something in your radar, you just like kind of tap it. And when you tap it,
zones right in.
Everything, your weapons, everything, whoop, zones right in and points at it. And so that's what was happening there. But if you listen close to what he said, it's rotating. It's going against the wind. It's going against 127 mile an hour. 140, something like that. Like that. Some crazy wind going against the wind. Also, one thing to really take note when you're looking at these, okay? So we know these things are hauling ass, right? So they're moving really quick. The one thing that do you know what you don't see on all three of these? You don't see any propulsion. You don't see a flame shooting out the back of this thing.
No.
There is no visible signs of propulsion. As humans, the only way that we go forward is we do something that pushes back. You know, we want to move a plane forward, we shoot fire backwards that pushes us forward. You know, or propellers, we push the air.
Yeah, like rockets blast
us
off.
You know, we do not have a way to do what these things are doing. We just don't. We have no way of, I mean, and these things are not aerodynamic. I mean, this thing looks like a ginormous, you know, fucking hoagie in the sky. There's no wings, you know. The other thing that's kind of crazy is Ryan Graves describes on that West Coast, these things will go in excess of 300 plus miles an hour. But the other thing that they do is they don't move at all sometimes.
They just sit there.
They're just there. And we're talking about not just like kind of hovering. We're talking motionless in hundreds of miles an hour wind. It's like the wind doesn't even affect it. It's just solid. He talked about even if you had an object that had rockets shooting off every direction to kind of keep it still with the way the wind fluctuates and whatnot, you still wouldn't be able to make it perfect.
No.
These things just don't move, which, again, you go back to what Bob Lazar talked about with these gravity. It's in its own gravity wave. Wind wouldn't affect them.
No.
It wouldn't. So, again, take what you will from this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just here to give you the morsels. But damn, they're starting to add up to what looks like at least at least a midday snack. You know, I mean, we're working on maybe a breakfast course.
Oh yeah,
But
just a little more than an amuse-bouche. I just really wanted to say amuse-bouche.
yeah, it's fine. You can say amuse-bouche. So going back to how these things got released, you know, Tom DeLonge. My thing, and I don't know, you know, Tom DeLonge has done a lot for disclosure. His group really did move the needle. Really, actually funny is, do you remember when North Korea hacked, or like the WikiLeaks? Do you remember the WikiLeaks hack?
Yeah.
When the Clintons and the DNC got hacked and everything?
Yes.
So the Clinton campaign got hacked and everything, right? And all their emails, you know, the emails, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
But not only did Hillary get hacked, but John Podesta got hacked too, who was the head of her campaign and the whole thing, right? Would have probably transitioned to her like chief of staff or something like that.
Okay,
Right?
I see, yeah.
Big deal. That dude was exchanging emails with one Tom DeLonge about all of this.
All of the UFO
All
stuff.
of it. And no one knew until those
emails came
So
out.
you, ladies and gentlemen, can go look them up on WikiLeaks.
That's so funny.
Yep. And they were prepping. And it really felt... It really seemed like it was more of just Tom DeLonge emailing him a bunch. But whatever.
Yeah.
Take what you will.
Still.
But there was emails exchanged. I don't know. It's hard for me with Tom DeLonge because he's doing good, but I get the feeling that he's like a I don't know, convenient, you know. He's like a disinformation agent that he doesn't realize he's being used for disinformation. I really feel like, but here's the other problem. So he created this whole company for this whole like investigation of UFOs and whatever, this To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. But they also make fake things like movies and like fiction books and shit. Like based on sort of this stuff. But it's like, how can we take you serious if the same organization is making fiction?
Yeah.
You know, listen, if I'm going to fucking go down that rabbit hole of being like, I'm going to take your fiction as true and stuff like that, I'll go join Scientology. You know, because I mean, I'm sure L. Ron Hubbard was.
Yeah, but I mean, he's also part of the entertainment industry, and so I mean, he's just kind of wired as that kind of that. And
it's tough, right?
But it can muddy the waters. It can muddy the waters very much so.
So I struggle with Tom DeLonge. The other thing is it's really hard to you know, take him kind of serious. Because, like, you see him on Twitter now, and I think literally saw last night a tweet. He talked about someone giving somebody else a hand job, and it's like the government right now has a whole permanent department that just got put in place that's funded by our tax dollars, literally due to his actions, and he's tweeting about hand jobs. Yeah, it's weird. So that represents really the major events that happened that the article is referring to. So you have this article. That comes out in the New York Times
About these 3 ships.
about these 3 videos it's really about this program ATIP ran by this Luis Elizondo. You got a video released by ATIP, which is the Tic Tac. You have 2 videos released by To the Stars Academy. You have the Pentagon coming out and saying all 3 are legitimate.
Yes.
They are not hoaxes. They are.
We cannot deny these.
We cannot deny
We
these.
can't say that it's a secret balloon.
Secret balloon.
Secret balloon.
Yeah. So they can't do it. So it's really, really, really interesting, you know, and it really did, like I said, it started a fundamental shift. So like I said, we have, you know, these congressional hearings. We also, it's really, really interesting, the omnibus defense spending bill that just passed had a line in it. This huge 2023 defense spending bill had a line in it that authorized the creation of a permanent UFO investigation branch of the military called the Aero Office. I forgot what it stands for, but so I mean, but this all came from this article. You know what I mean? It's really, really just interesting. It all stemmed from this public, disclosure and this thing and this article, and how this $22 million from Harry Reid went to essentially ATIP to study these UFO events. These UFO events within our military, right? So it's really interesting where the world is going. That's all I'm saying. But that being said, what if that article was kind of bullshit?
Oh, no way.
I guess you'll have to tune in next week to find out. But hey, thanks for tuning in this week. Of course, check us out on all the socials and all the different things. U.F.Oh Snap. I'm Jake.
I'm Lindsay.
Stay elevated, my friends.